I believed it was a minor error, but I was mistaken. That day marked the start of the most complex and forbidden moments of my life. As I share this, my hands tremble. This is more than a confession. It's a battle with my shame and desire. George, my mother's husband, is a mature, charismatic man who radiates confidence. He commanded attention without raising his voice. He often remained silent at home, but his presence filled every room with warmth. He was my mom's second husband, and we were never close. He was courteous yet aloof, until that day when everything shifted. My mom, Susan, was out with friends again. The house was left to us. I expected a quiet evening. I retreated to my room to change. In front of the mirror, clad only in my underwear, I was ready to put on a dress when I heard the door creak open. "Claire, your door's open," George whispered gently from the doorway. His voice was steady, powerful enough to awaken me. His gaze locked onto mine as I turned my head. Time stood still. I felt lost. I stayed still, exposed and vulnerable. He paused at the door, hand poised, torn between entering and retreating. His gaze held mine, stirring confusion and an inexplicable feeling within me. My heart raced wildly. In mere seconds, everything changed. "I'm sorry," he said at last, looking away, though his tone lacked true remorse. There was a flicker of doubt, a question of true regret lingering in the air. He stepped back, yet his presence lingered, filling the room even after the door shut. "It's fine," I whispered, my voice trembling, but deep down I knew it wasn't. A change stirred within me, impossible to overlook. He walked away, leaving me alone with my thoughts, but his gaze and the tension hung in the air, haunting me. That moment is forever imprinted in my mind, impossible to forget. I believed it was a simple error, a fleeting awkwardness, but I was mistaken. Days later, it struck again, pushing boundaries even further. Until then, it all seemed like an awkward mistake, a misstep in timing, and I believed that too. It quickly became clear that this was just the beginning. That day marked the start. Now, let me share everything that followed. The following day, a wedding awaited us. My mom's dear friend was marrying again. My mom was her vibrant, joyful self, dressed up and eager for the event. Susan thrived on joy and adventure. I cared for my friends, but loyalty didn't run deep for me. I wasn't excited about going, but George's presence at the wedding transformed everything. We walked into the venue side by side. Amid the bustling crowd, my eyes kept drifting to George. Perhaps he was always this handsome, this charismatic, and I simply failed to see it before. Bathed in the wedding lights, he exuded pure confidence. His suit fit flawlessly, each step radiating charm effortlessly. I struggled to silence the thoughts racing through my mind. "Stop it, Claire," I urged myself, yet my gaze kept returning to him. A dance song began to play. Mom and George danced together, lost in the moment. Susan wore her usual carefree smile, but then, mid-dance, she turned to me and grinned. George asked Claire to dance. She agreed. "I'm heading to my friends for a while." A surge of energy shot through me, and my heart raced wildly. George paused, then smiled and reached out to me. His eyes radiated calm confidence. "Come on, Claire," he urged, his voice playful. "Show me a few moves." Susan humiliated me on the dance floor. His easygoing nature made it impossible for me to say no. I responded cautiously, my voice shaking. "Sure." Walking to the dance floor, the crowd's eyes felt like 1,000 needles on my skin. Text. When his hand touched my waist, my breath caught in my throat. His cologne, the warmth of his touch, everything felt so real. A twist is coming. If you're curious, subscribe and turn on notifications for more. Your support is everything. Remember to like and share your thoughts. As we danced, George's gaze was locked on me. "Claire, I never knew you had such talent," he said, smiling warmly. His voice held a charm that resonated deep within me. "Dancing with you brings pure joy." I looked away, hiding the turmoil within. "I'm trying my hardest," I said, but my voice shook, revealing my struggle. George's smile became tender. "Don't sell yourself short," he said, his hand tightening on my waist. "This is more than dancing. It's a connection. Can't you sense it?" In that instant, I understood our bond went beyond the dance. My body danced to the rhythm, yet my heart and mind were in chaos. In that moment, it was just my mom and me. The crowd and noise vanished. Only George and the hands that kept me grounded. My heart was torn between confusion and longing. In the dance, George's voice pierced through my chaos, soft yet profound. "Text, I'm sorry for what happened the other day," he said. "I wanted to warn you, but grab attention. It may have crossed a line, invading your space." A warm wave washed over me, my cheeks igniting with heat. I looked down, hoping to relieve the tension. "It's okay," I said, my voice trembling. "Honestly, it's not a big deal. Such things can occur." George hesitated briefly, yet continued to dance, his gaze locked on mine. He pressed on, his voice growing tender. "I never meant to make you uncomfortable. I need you to notice me." My heart raced. "Text, I was fine," I assured him. I battled the strange thrill swelling within me. "It's okay." The air between us grew heavy as we danced on. His hand on my waist and the sincerity in his gaze ignited something profound inside me. The intensity faded as the music softly concluded. We ceased to dance. "Thank you," George said, smiling softly. "You are an amazing dance partner." I nodded, heart racing. "Thank you," I whispered. I rushed back to my table and sat down. George paused, his gaze locked on me, then slowly shifted to another table. In that moment, those lingering glances revealed the truth. What we had was far from over. It had only just begun. "Prepare." Susan walked into the wedding hall, her face lit up with a radiant smile. "What a beautiful dance," she praised us. "You both were stunning out there." Her compliment left me flustered, but I masked it well. "It was fun," I whispered, a small smile flickering. George nodded, a faint smile flickering on his lips. Susan spoke passionately, her hands clapping with excitement. "Guess what? After the wedding, it's just the girls and me for a bachelorette party. No boys allowed. George, please take Claire home." George offered a faint smile. "Sure, no problem at all," he said nonchalantly. In that instant, I saw the injustice of Susan's treatment of George. On a night meant for togetherness, she chose solitude for him. A sharp discomfort gripped my chest, yet I buried it deep. Susan was indifferent. Her friends and fun took precedence. After the wedding, George and I walked to the car, side by side. Susan had already gone out with her friends. We climbed into the car, and George silently turned on the engine. The silence in the car felt heavy. I gazed out the window, resisting the urge to fill the silence with chatter. Finally, George spoke up. "Susan has her own priorities," he said, staring straight ahead. "It still shocks me how careless she can be sometimes. On nights like this, you crave your partner's presence, don't you?" His tone was calm and reflective, yet a hint of disappointment lingered beneath. His words resonated profoundly within me. The image of someone like George, strong, charismatic, composed, feeling lonely, pierced my heart. I steadied myself and replied, my voice trembling just a bit. "In moments like these, a bit more thought matters greatly." George gave a faint nod. "You're right," he replied, eyes fixed on the road ahead. "Every relationship is unique." In that moment, an unspoken connection sparked between us. I could sense his loneliness deeply. I fought to hide my feelings. That short conversation pulled me closer to him, our bond deepening quietly yet intensely. As we reached home, George swung the door open and motioned for me to enter. "Good night," he said, but his hesitation revealed he wasn't ready to go. As I approached my room, I saw George lingering by the doorway. An inexplicable pull halted me, and I turned to confront him. "George," I whispered, "would you like to come in? Let's talk for a bit." George's eyes revealed his desire to stay, yet he still declined politely. In the aftermath, he appeared uncertain. I invited him in to prove I had moved on, that it no longer mattered. I retreated to my room, haunted by Susan's actions and George's words, replaying them endlessly. His loneliness pierced through me, more than I cared to acknowledge. On the edge of my bed, I struggled to find peace, as my racing thoughts drowned out all calm. Why can't I stop thinking about him? Why can't I stop reliving the moment he stumbled into my room? Time dragged on, silence enveloping the house. Susan was still gone, and George's actions were a mystery. Lost in my thoughts, I froze as the door swung open. George stood in the doorway, and I felt a rush of emotions. His eyes burned with determination, yet his expression betrayed inner conflict. I sprang to my feet. "George," I exclaimed, shock evident in my voice. "What are you doing here?" He shut the door, yet remained rooted at the threshold. He stood there, lost in a silent struggle. "Claire," he started, his voice soft yet heavy with feeling. "You're right. Susan. She treats me unfairly. Tonight, Susan's actions mean nothing to me." He stepped closer, his eyes fixed on me. "I've felt something for you for a while," he confessed, his voice steady yet tinged with uncertainty. "That day I accidentally walked into your room changed everything. It won't leave my mind." The air vanished, leaving a heavy silence. Words failed me. My mind went blank. George pressed on, unwavering. He needed to speak his truth, regardless of the fallout. "I might regret this. I could be making a mistake. But I can't hold it in any longer. Claire, you're always on my mind." He stopped, looking for a flicker of emotion on my face. He saw the shock in my eyes. He stepped closer, his voice gentle. "Claire, you truly get me. You might not know it, but you see me." That's something Susan has always struggled with. My heart raced, ready to explode. The moment felt unbearably heavy. I wanted to reply, but nothing came to me. The silence weighed on us, thick with unacknowledged emotions we dared not face. George's eyes dropped to the floor, breaking the connection. He let out a heavy sigh and swallowed with difficulty. "I'm sorry, Claire," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I regret saying any of this. I must leave." He walked away, heading for the door. Each step was heavy, deliberate, revealing the weight he bore. As he reached for the doorknob, I saw his shoulders rise and fall with a heavy breath. In that moment, everything changed within me. My fears and confusion vanished, leaving behind a newfound boldness. I had to stop him from going. "George," I whispered, my voice resonating in the silence. He paused. He turned to me, our eyes locking in a moment that felt electric. Turmoil consumed them, a fierce clash of regret and longing raging within. In that instant, we were frozen. With trembling hands, I let the straps of my dress slip off my shoulders, watching it cascade to the floor. The dim light highlighted my bare shoulders as the cool air caressed my skin. George's gaze pierced through me, intense and unyielding. His gaze was unyielding, and I was powerless to turn away. "Text, I haven't forgotten either, George," I said, my voice shaking, but my resolve burned fiercely within me. "The instant you entered my room, my world shifted forever. I've tried to hide my feelings, but I can't because I like you too. Perhaps I've felt this way for a long time." My heart raced, pounding so fiercely, I feared it would burst from my chest. George fell silent, his gaze locked onto mine, as if he were grappling with my words. In those eyes, I felt the same pull, the same undeniable connection. Tonight, I took a deep breath and said, "I can't fight these feelings any longer. I can't say if it's right or wrong, but this is how I feel, George." He moved in, his hands softly caressing my face. His touch was tender yet careful, as if he feared shattering the moment. When our eyes met, the distance vanished, revealing the truth of our connection. He leaned down, our lips met. That first kiss unleashed every pent-up emotion and desire. George's touch deepened, his kisses igniting a fire with every heartbeat. Stopping was never an option. I was utterly immersed in the moment. I stepped back, feeling the bed's edge press against my legs, and then I let myself fall onto it. I watched George's hands slowly unbutton his shirt, each movement deliberate and charged. Each movement was intentional, a desire to savor and prolong this moment. As he shed his shirt, his confidence radiated, commanding the entire room. He stepped closer, his eyes locked onto mine. He arranged his clothes at the bed's edge, then leaned in, the air crackling with unspoken tension between us. Our connection crackled with pure passion and longing. In that instant, nothing else existed, just us. He leaned in, and we surrendered to each other completely. It was deeply moving. A profound warmth surged within me. This was unlike anything I had ever experienced. George stood before me, his broad shoulders and muscular frame commanding attention. I shut my eyes, hands lifted, pressing against the pillow, mirroring George's movements. In that instant, my body tensed fiercely. George gazed at me and said, "You're truly special." "I've always felt that way." "I get it now." He gasped for air. "So are you, George," I said, feeling a warmth inside. It all seemed unreal. When George lay down next to me, I nestled my head against his chest. As I lay against his strong chest, his heartbeat pulsed steadily, a comforting reminder of his presence. This moment brings me both peace and deep turmoil. I traced patterns on his chest, summoning the courage to shatter the silence. "You enter my room with purpose this time, George," I said, my voice low, laden with significance. I met his gaze, my words pushing him to face the truth, exposing the chaos within me. George's faint smile masked the heavy thoughts weighing on him. "No, Claire," he replied. "This was no accident. I must share my feelings, despite the challenge it brings." I averted my eyes to his chest, my fingers hesitating. I inhaled deeply and spoke once more. "You're truly special and so incredibly attractive, George," I whispered. "What comes next? How do we move forward, my mom, everyone?" George leaned in, drawing me near as his fingers tangled in my hair. His voice was steady yet brimming with feeling. "I'm lost, Claire. In this moment, everything feels undeniably real. Your closeness is undeniable." His words stirred a tempest within, yet his honesty brought a calming balm. I shut my eyes, feeling his warmth as the future's uncertainty hung above us. In that moment, we simply felt each other. If you're here, my story has resonated with you profoundly. So much awaits you. Don't miss a moment. Follow us, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts on this story. I'm eager to hear what you think.